Hi, I'm Joe, and you're watching The Joke. And after weeks of deliberation, calculations, we finally have the D10 / D100. I hope you enjoy. So starting off, get rid of the square. Okay, so to make the initial shape for the faces like we've been doing for every die, what you're going to want to do is go into top-down view, and you're going to want to get a plane. Go into that plane, you're going to want to delete... Right, okay. I guess an easier way to do this, because we need a point at the center. So what you're going to do is you're going to select everything, hit W, subdivide once, then you're going to delete these 4 points. Okay, you have 1 point in the center. What we're going to do is make our initial kite with a specific length, width, and height, because figuring this out mathematically is a nightmare, and even then there's still some eyeballing we have to do later. But for now, let's start off by trying to get the proper lengths, I say as I stall looking through 2 sheets of math notes trying to get the length E5. Okay, so you're going to want to extrude this point in the X for 2.61803398. Then you're gonna hit enter. Okay, now that we've got our line, let's switch to edge mode, select this edge. From here, we're going to need to make another extrusion. And this one will just be 1. So extrude in the X and hit 1. There we go. Now from this point on, you're going to be using the cursor to selected a lot. Cursor to active. So cursor to active a lot. And we're going to be rotating this line segment. This line segment needs to be rotated. I have to get the second sheet of paper. Okay, now that we've extruded our line segment and we've set our cursor to the corner or the future corner of this kite by using cursor to active, we're going to rotate this line segment by, as I pull the sheet of paper up, 180 minus 107.99999,472, which is 72.0000528. Don't worry, the numbers will be on the screen. So rotate around the z-axis 72 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. 528. That's just for the sake of precision. What we're going to do after that, we're going to take this. We're going to duplicate it, Shift D. Then from now I can't tell which is which. Okay. We just need one of them. So in edit mode, deselect everything, select by L. Man, I wish I could say I have confidence in that. It looks right. Select by L. Then we're going to move the cursor to the top point here by setting cursor to active again. we are going to rotate this around the X 180. So it's mirrored with our point over here. Then we're going to rotate it around the Z. Let's see if I can get this right. 35.999999824. Okay, with that, we have our kite shape. We can select everything, and we're going to merge by distance. Ugh, got the words caught up there. Merge by distance. We got 2 vertices, that's correct. And now we're going to fill in the face. Okay, from here, we're going to want to make what I call a paper craft kind of version for the top of our D10. So to do that, you have everything selected right now. We're going to select this top point. Oh, whoops, my bad. Command Z. Shift, select that top point. Now from there, the cursor is already there. I guess you didn't need to do that. Either way, with your cursor in the center, we're going to duplicate our kites. And we're going to rotate it that 35.999999824 degrees. So let's do that in the negative, in the Z. Not in the negative, just in the Z. My bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 824. There. We can now select both of these by using face and then selecting by L and L. We're still rotating around the center, so we're going to Shift D, rotate by twice our 35.95, 9 recurring to the 5, 8, 2, 4. I don't know if you can say recurring to the 5. I feel like there should be notation like that. I was saying that this entire time while I was trying to figure out all of this. Either way, 2 times that value would give you 71.9999648. So we're gonna do R around Z, 71 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nines, 6, 4, 8. Boom, we have that. And then one last one, Shift D, rotate around the Z. That's 35, 9 to the 5 recurring, 824. And for those wondering where I got all these numbers, I'm gonna put the link to the website on screen and in the description. So you can blame them for how weird these numbers are. And also, even then, it still didn't help me get a mathematically accurate D10, as you will see in a few moments. But for right now, we're happy. We got our D10 here. So from this point, yet again, we're gonna try and merge everything. Toggle select that, then we're gonna hit merge by distance. You got 8 points, you have the points in the center, so 5 points there. Then 1, 2, 3, there should be 9. Did I mess up somewhere? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 and 5. Either way, I'm sure everything's fine. You get 8 points if you merge by distance. Yeah, I'm confident about that. Okay. Okay. Now that we have our 5 faces all merged up and placed where they should be, we're going to start trying to close up our cone. Just let me turn that off. That was from something else. Okay. So to close up our cone, what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to have the 3D cursor as your pivot, as well as your transform orientation. So from there, you're going to go to your toolbar, go to view, 3D cursor, and in your Z rotation, you're going to want to set this to 54 because Blender rounds up any UI stuff you do. So set that to 54. It's not an exact accurate number of where this edge is, but it's where Blender's going to place your cursor. So once you set your cursor's orientation, you're going to rotate around the Y. So R, Y, and you're going to rotate 63.45, the angle that delayed this video by weeks. This angle cannot be mathematically found because this is not a standard shape or an equilateral shape or a regular shape, whatever you want to call it. There is no angle for this. So instead, through a long process, which ended in trial and error, we get 63.45. And if we just hit enter, we can do that. And it's like that. I don't know. I'm frustrated by this angle. Now we're going to set the cursor to 18, so we move on to our next edge. And with that, we're going to also rotate it 63.45. And that was wrong. Rotate it around the Y, 63.45. Now, you don't want to move on to the next face. Instead, you're going to want to skip one over. So we're going to set this to -18. And we're going to rotate this negatively around the Y, 63.45. Remember negative. Sorry, start with the further face. So -54 for the Z rotation of the 3D cursor. Rotate around the Y, 63.45 negative. Shift select to the next face. Set this to -18. And rotate 63.45 around the Y. And also negative. So there you have it. That will close up the cone. Pretty simple, pretty frustrating to figure out, but pretty simple. And you're going to select everything, and you're just going to hit merge by distance. Make sure your merge by distance is set to 0.0101, just so you make sure you merge that one vertice that seals up this entire seam. Now, I'm in face orientation mode. You can switch to it to see which way your face is orientated. If it's all red, you're going to want to flip that so it's all blue now. And that completely finishes off your cone. Now, to make the trapezohedron, which I believe it's what this shape is called. If I am wrong, I will correct myself in the edits. But to complete it, you have to duplicate this cone you have. You can escape out of it. And you need to set this back to... Well, you need to set this to normal. And you need to set the pivot to midpoint. Your Z should be pointing towards your top point here, the axis point here. If it's pointing away from it, your normals are backwards. That's just another easy way to check without turning on orientation. So with this duplicated, you are going to want to rotate it in the Y. Do you want to rotate in the Y now? No, let's rotate in the Z first. You're going to want to rotate in the Z 35 points, this long number, 9 recurring 5 times. That's just another way to say that. That is way easier than 9 recurring to the 5 or whatever I was saying before. So 9999. 824 for your last 3 digits. And that doesn't look right. $35, 9 recurring 5 times. Eight, 2, 4. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I might have typed it in wrong. Okay, so I've corrected whatever the issue was. I just typed it in wrong. You're going to want to rotate that 35.9 recurring 5 times 824. And that will get the second half of your D10 in the right rotation. So now we can flip it. So we're gonna flip it along the Y 180 degrees. And now, while still in normal transform orientation, we're gonna move this along the Z, so it's just not intersecting with our base half of our D10. And we're gonna hit the snap tool, set that snap tool to vertex, and move this in till we hit that vertex. Okay. At this point, you can select the other island, and we're going to merge by distance again. And that merges all 10 of our vertices around here, finally closing off the shape for the D10. With that, we're going to go out of edit mode. We're going to select our object and set geometry to origin. And then after that, we're going to want to rotate along. No, this is still normal. Set it back to global. We're going to rotate along the X, the angle that took forever to get, 63.45 degrees. I will never forget that. And now we have our D10 standing up. Okay, now that you have your trapezohedron, your D10 standing up, you can select both sides and hit space, merge by distance. You should have 10 points merging. Increase this to 0.0101 meters if it switched again. I switched between files because I was testing a few things out. And that should merge your 10 points together. Okay. Now, a lot of you might be saying, hey, that doesn't look like a D10, or hey, that looks like the D10s that I get off Etsy or something. I don't know. Well, I have a fix for that, which I've just tested out in a test program. So you're gonna scale with everything selected, scale everything in the Z. I'm gonna set it to 0.45, but you figure out what looks like a D10 to you. A D10 to me looks like scaling in the Z by 0.45. So that should give you the base shape for your D10. And now it's the same thing as we did for all the other die. So as soon as you get the faces the way you want it, or the shape the way you want it, whatever gets you to feeling like this is a D10, you can then select one of the faces to get the transform. We're gonna do what we did last time for the numbers. Type out the numbers, extrude them, and you can get the median information and use it as its transform position. I'll be back once I've placed all the numbers where they should be. I'll show it to you people who don't have a D10 with you, but if you have a D10, go get your favorite D10 and try and match the numbers to the faces. Also note that because we're doing both the D10 and the tens place for the D100 pair, the numbers on the tens place D10, I don't know how else to phrase that, I'll put a picture on screen, is different from the placement of the D10. Though I do believe it still follows dice rules. The sum of the numbers will equal 1 plus the size of the die. So I got my... Let me double check that for you before I just leave you off to fend for yourselves. So I got my die here. 0 on the other side of 0 is 9. So... wow, I've already proven myself wrong. Okay, the 0 and the 9 are opposites. Let's try 4. 4 and 5 are 9. Okay, the sum of the D10 will always equal 9. And the sum of the tens place D10 for the D100 will always equal 9 as well. Why is this different then? So here 10 and the 0, 0 and the 60 are next to each other, and on this one the 0 and the 8 are next to each other. So yes, on the faces the numbers or the concurrent numbers will be in different places. Just make a note of that. Okay, I'll be back once I'm done with this. Just wanted to note, because I'm gonna cut this number part out of the video. Once you have your numbers and you've converted them into meshes, you're gonna want to go in and just for every 0, you're gonna want to shrink it to, I'd say 90% of its original scale. So scale 0.9. And yeah, you're just gonna want to do that for every 0. Okay, this is mid-process Joe. I'm just gonna give you a tiny helpful hint and give you the rotation that I went for the x-axis for the first face, which hopefully will help you out. So here's the rotation I used for the first number. Gonna post a picture of where I placed it. And yeah, hopefully this helps. Okay, so I finished arranging the tens. Let me deselect that. I finished arranging the tens and the ones in place. I'm not sure if I can film this. If I film it, you can see where all the numbers are placed. If not, I'll do a top down and bottom up shot for people who don't have die. The rest is just like the other tutorials. So that's where we'll be ending this one. And on to the outro. Okay, there we have it. The D10 and the D100 finally done. You can see them up for display on my Sketchfab page and for sale on my CGTrader. And if you've liked this and you want to see the rest of the series, please click here for the playlist on the whole polynomial die set. And if you want to see my grander expansive arts, please click here. And if you want to catch what's next on this series as well as the rest of my channel, please hit that notification bell and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and joke out!